Hi, and welcome to the second installment of Chancellor Chat, where the Almagest student news editors are taking your questions to our Chancellor. Let's begin.
Thank you, Galen. Welcome, Chancellor Larry Clark. We're really happy to have you back with us for our second installment.
Looking forward to this.
We have aggregated some questions from the student body, like Kaylin said, and I feel like we could just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
First off, I guess we could start with our print editor, Corey Drummond. Following him would be our video editor, Kaylin Henry, and then I will have the final questions for you. And my name is Hannah Sprouls, and I am the executive editor for the Almagest.
Great. Corey, let's do it.
Chancellor Clark, how is the BIPSI at LSUS program going?
I think well. We have been setting up actual hours over at BIPSI where we have our team of admissions people there. It's going to be augmented by faculty. I'm signing up for multiple slots so that I can be over there to see the students. And I must say that it's not only with BIPSI that we're looking to increase our presence, but also with Southern University Shreveport with SUSLA. So we're doing that as well. But you know, one of the things we're trying to do also is to provide more information and better information for students who may transfer from either institution. We're arranging to have a new web page created just for those two community college set of students so that they can better know how they will be able to transfer and transfer effectively and have less risk of losing course credit, which of course is very important to any transfer student and important to us. We want the students to be able to graduate in as timely a fashion as possible. So that is under production. There's a company down in Baton Rouge which is helping us with the web page presence. And so it's the combination of some things that we're doing. We also have found some scholarship dollars that we're putting towards students who will be transferring over from both SUSLA and BIPSI in an early admit program so they can declare and make their plans to come to LSU Shreveport. So we have, as you can tell, several initiatives underway. They're all intended to make for a better connection for the students and make it an easier process, make it a process with less risk of losing course credits, which is important, and hopefully feeling more welcomed. And we want the students to be here. So there's a combination of those things. And feel free to follow up if you want to ask of anything back to me, anything I've just said to you.
Yeah. So can you talk specifically about how you're going to involve SUSLA students?
Yes, in a similar kind of fashion. We will not be as many days a week. We're right now, because the number of students preparing to that could be transferring is higher at Bossier Community College. We are starting out with 3 days there and 1 day at Southern University, but we expect to expand that as well. But it is it depends on what the level of student interest might be. I would love to have someone from LSUS at both institutions full-time. Unfortunately, our funding and staffing do not allow that to happen, but it will be that the combination of much more involvement by us and the web page when that becomes operational, and it probably will not be till early spring when that happens, but it at least will help the students be able to have better information when they begin to talk to us, and hopefully that will help the students also so they can have a better conversation because right now they can find some of the information, but they have to go and do sort of a hunt to find the different kinds of things that might apply to them in terms of the transfer process. So again, it will be set up just in particular as we start with BIPSI and SUSLA. Ideally, what I'd like to have it to be set up so that all the state universities would be at that web page that you could go to and easily do that, because we want to, of course, welcome students as well from the other universities around Louisiana that may have tried something else and now know where they would rather be, and that'd be with us.
Okay. For me? Okay. The SGA recently passed a bill where they decided that they wanted to move the free speech zone on campus.
Yes.
Could you just tell us a little bit about maybe what you think about that bill and what the administration plans to do about this initiative that they've taken?
You know, the free speech zone is a matter that's been contentious at universities for years and years. I'm a lawyer by background. I think there's value in having a free speech zone. The difficulty becomes when people are allowed the privilege to use the free speech zone, and while using it, cast aspersions or use it in a way that is not in the intended means of which they were provided the access. So we have been providing it very close to the Chancellor's Walk, and if someone decides that they're going to abuse that privilege they've been given, it can be hurtful. And it can be hurtful for students who are just only trying to do what they do in a normal day of life and just walk or talk and just to be free of things of which they do not wish to be engaged in. So it is a difficult balance of where to put it and how to have it. So as a chancellor, I'd be protective of the idea that a free speech zone ought to exist on a campus. But where it exists, I surely would not put it in the far back of the campus where it cannot be seen. But on the other hand, I might look to take one of the areas where the 4 pods that we have of trees outside in the center mall and have one of those maybe where they might be, where people could walk around and don't have to walk in by them. And maybe that could work where they would, we could curb perhaps, they would be yelling more if they're trying to get the people adjacent to Bronson and the BE building, for example. And if they're doing that, we can intercede to say, you've gone too far. We want people to be able to hear different points of view. But again, it needs to be done in a way that is respectful. And so I'm protective of it, but I also don't want students to be abused by it or anyone else on campus. Follow up to that?
Any of you guys have anything you'd
On
like
that
to
one?
comment?
What do you think? Do you think there should be?
I'm not sure. I've heard from Kirsten Howard that they're right now talking to representatives to find if it's going to be lawful, and I heard that it's not really, they're pushing the bill back until late spring.
Yes.
Until
I think that's
from there making the decision whether or not they're going to push it through.
Yeah. So it's a interesting issue.
It is. I guess the thing of it would, the main issue would be when they move the free speech zone, it still needs to be in an area of high traffic, was my understanding. The problem with the last one was that it wasn't in a high traffic enough area. So if they're just moving it, it doesn't seem like that would fix the problem that they're trying to fix necessarily.
It may not. And you know, the one of the things may be that, for example, I may end up going over and standing there and listening. With my law background, I have a pretty good idea where that range is. And you know, if we have someone who we suspect could be, and not to invite the police in to just shut them down, but to try to use means of suggesting that they need to alter the way in which they're delivering their message, if that's the issue, and try to go with it. But I'm prepared that if someone is not taking that opportunity, that privilege to speak on our campus appropriately, to have them carted off. I have no problems with that if you go too far. But I do believe that it's important to have, at a university, different points of view.
So how do you plan on collecting the student responses to the bill?
I haven't spoken with Kirsten about it. I was away last week, and I was in Dallas for a dinner meeting last night. And so I've been here most days since I've started, but in the last 10 days, I've only been here about a day and a half. So Kirsten and I have not had a chance to talk about what they would like to see happen for sure and how I might be supportive of them. So unfortunately, I can't tell you for sure what their thoughts are and what it might be that I could do to be supportive of what they want to do.
I have one for you, Chancellor.
Okay.
If fall break, why doesn't it correlate with Halloween? I mean, that's a big holiday.
It is a big holiday. So if I understand your question right, the fall break would be it would include the Friday of Halloween.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh.
But then how do we enjoy having the students around campus with their costumes on? I mean, it's one of the fun things on Halloween, it used to be, this will be my first Halloween in 20 years, but seeing students in costumes and all, and that was fun. I love Halloween. Back where I've come from in North Carolina, the business school dressed up a lot, and they even had contests of the students in the finance area. Great fun. So I love to watch Halloween. I'd miss it if you guys weren't around, but other than that, you know, seriously, it's a question of counting days from the start and where do you put a break in that makes some sense in relation to your semester that you're going to take. But why would you like it? Would you like it that way?
I believe so. I mean, I would have a lot more opportunities to go get candy for that night, and also getting last-minute costumes ready.
Right.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I'd be really sad to miss everybody. The spirit.
It's a collegial part. You know, in all seriousness, our campus doesn't have enough of the exchange of students and networking kind of things, and that's such a natural because it doesn't exclude anyone because of national origin or religion. It might. I'd be very careful. It might, but relatively few. It's just a good, fun, enjoying one another kind of day, and we need more of those kind of days here at LSU Shreveport to build what we want to have here for the student experience and interaction. So I would hate to give it up. I would love to have a whole lot more Halloweens, quite frankly, or the like kind, so that there are things that students have that they can interact with besides what they're doing in their class experience, which is very important, but what other kinds of things. So again, I'd kind of hate to lose Halloween. For many different reasons, I like it.
Okay, for another dress-up day, can we have a tacky sweater day for Christmas?
My wife's told you I have some of those? That'd be fun. I think it could be fun to do different kinds of things like that. I'd be game for it. Tell me what day you want to have it and how you want to dress. I'm game for it. But again, I think it's really important that we don't take ourselves so seriously, that we don't think about planning for times to have some fun and see what happens. And I think that can be fun to do. And sometimes it was spontaneous. I was a trustee of a community college back in North Carolina, and from time to time they would just put out to everybody through Facebook that something was going to happen on campus, and people just started clustering and doing some things. And that could be kind of fun. It was a 30,000 community college, so there was a lot of people, so it was able to build mass pretty quickly. But just doing some things that aren't always planned can even be fun. But sure, I'd have more than one day of doing some different kind of things. Why not? Let's do it.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Well, that's it for this week's Chancellor Chat. Thank you so much, Chancellor Clark, for coming out to answer our questions and the questions of the student body.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
We really appreciated it. For the Almagest Student News, I'm Hannah Sprouls.